I'll bring my voice up first, so that the first thing they don't hear is an Argentinian yelling. Yeah. Okay. Now I'll bring you guys up. There we go.
No.
I lied. I muted you immediately because I knew you were going to do that. See?
He's muted me. It doesn't matter. This is going to be on the podcast regardless.
Oh, that's right. You're recording on your side. Shit.
This Jerry Seinfeld motherfucker over here.
This Jerry Seinfeld motherfucker right here. Okay. I need to bring up. Oh no, the chat's right there. Hello, chat. I got you.
Hello, chat.
Hello.
Hello.
And that's the bottom line, because TOLKOTO said so.
Get ready for tomorrow's UPF. It's going to be fun.
It's gonna be fun. All right, we put away the Mortal Kombat playing controller. And
Mortal Kombat.
I hope you're talking about your Xbox controller.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
Yes, that's exactly.
I think you show weakness today when you went back to the pad.
You couldn't pause with the other controller.
Yeah, I could not pause.
Yes, you can.
I tried
it. You can have all the buttons.
It does have all the buttons, and it wasn't working.
You probably had tournament lock on, Jeff.
You probably had
possible. Let me. Right here. Let me look.
That is most likely.
Okay, so I have the tournament lock on.
Yeah.
Is that what that lock button is? Okay.
Yep. No start. No touchpad.
You thought it locked your. It's locking the inputs, brother. What do you thought that fucking shit?
I definitely didn't think that, but I don't know what I thought.
I'm locked into gaming mode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're locked in. Hell yeah, let's go.
We're locked in, brother. Let's fucking go. We're gaming.
Christian, now that you say it, and I'm thinking about it, that's probably what if I would have thought about it all, I probably would have thought that. Oh yeah, okay, you can't maybe if you hit the lock button, you can't hit this button and another button to set this button to be that button, because that actually works on this 8-bit Do controller. But all right, whatever. We should do a check on everything. Clearly that goes without saying. Okay. I'm
joking. You're a very smart, beautiful man.
Oh wow, I believe it. I believe you when you say it like that. Okay. Hey, Mike, you okay?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. No apology needed. I'm just legitimately worried about you. You are spaced out.
I was watching I was catching up on the Jimmy Fallon drama.
What?
Oh, there's drama?
What?
Yeah, they say that this place sucks to work at, which is shocking.
Oh, a bit weird.
Big surprise.
I'm so surprised.
Hang on real quick. I'm going to do a tweet then about that because I can't help myself.
This is what you're supposed to do.
People, yeah. If they're assholes in front of camera, what is the mental math you had to do to be like, oh, he's probably a nice guy. At home, he's probably
he makes the boomers laugh, you know.
Oh, the boomers laugh at him. So
yeah, they laughed at Jay Leno, and Jay Leno was like the unfunniest man on the face of the earth.
Yes.
That motherfucker, I couldn't believe it. I started watching it because I just need to know. And he was so not funny.
I'm a Fallon or Leno now.
Both of them.
No, Leno, really.
Fallon sometimes is funny.
He was all right back in the day.
Kimmel, that guy ain't funny.
No.
Conan funny as fuck.
Well, sure.
That guy.
Oh, Craig Ferguson was very funny.
Although.
Craig Ferguson was.
I think I also would not really want to work for Conan, though, to be clear.
I feel like any of these guys probably let it all go to their heads, and it's just terrible there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Conan is definitely the funniest, but Conan did that special after he got fired from the Tonight Show, and it was I was definitely Team Conan. That special was so woe is me, and him kind of being unlikable. I was like, all right.
I can't wait till we do our Woe Is Me episode. I think we already done a couple of those. So, okay. Let me see here. That looks good. Let me test the music.
Let's not talk about that kid that got eaten by the alligator, please.
For more than 10 minutes, you mean? Okay.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah.
You guys hear that?
I was going to tell you 20 minutes. Yeah, we can hear that.
Chat, did you hear that? You guys heard it? Yeah, they heard that. I got to turn it up though. Okay, Mike, I think I'm ready to start. How are you doing?
I would love to start.
All right. Alligator a child? Asked Marcus. Well, no, we have to talk about it.
Oh, you're on the wrong screen, I think.
I am on the wrong screen. There we go. Okay, I am going to get us started right now, everybody. We are...
Yes, Chef.
Going to unmute that. There we go. I knew there was something wrong. All right, I'm going to count us in. We're starting in 5, 4, 3. The internet, you're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Game Mess Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything about the world of games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
In today's episode, switch to Daytona 2 and Charles Martinet 2. First, Mike, how are you doing?
That's funny, Jeff. You're a funny guy.
Pretty funny guy.
Okay, I got too much stuff going on for September. September's supposed to be a lazy month, darn it. So
yeah, you're supposed to like ease back in like out of summer into like a lot of stuff, and it's like no, it's actually just whole hog. It's whole hog, Mike.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of things. So that's all right. October, I think, will be chill. Then November, I'll have a whole Disney cruise. So I'll just get drunk on a boat with Mickey and Stitch. That'll be a good time.
That's going to be a very good time. Multiple times when I was in Seattle with Jan, he mentioned, I'm going to force you to take another vacation. I'm like, okay, I will. You're right. I would like to do that. So got to find time.
You should come on the Disney cruise.
Yeah, let's go. We'll make content out of it. Oh, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. Fuck.
No,
all right, I'm sorry.
Blow it.
Lions are watching, or they're playing football in prime time for the season opener. So I'm gonna be distracted, and they just fumbled.
I should pretend to be really upset about that. I should pretend to be annoyed and be like, Jeff, can you not watch football on the podcast?
And the answer to that question is no. It's gonna be on right there. Okay, Mike. So we had fun in Seattle. We talked about that on the last of the 10 Dogs a little bit. So we won't go over too much. But I don't know how you feeling now. You feeling recovered? You feeling back in the flow of things? I know there's a lot going on, but in terms of getting back from travel, how you doing?
Yeah, no, God, I think my life was less stressful in Seattle.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I had a bunch of things to do, but I had to put them off because I was traveling.
That was the opposite of that one movie. I was well rested in Seattle.
Yeah, because you were, sleepless because you didn't need sleep. Like you were going fine.
I am always very, in hotels, as long as it's a hotel of a certain level and it was a Sheraton, so it was nice enough. I'm always just really full of pep. I always sleep surprisingly well. I'm always wake up and I'm ready to go, especially if it's on the West Coast.
We cheat a little bit there. Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah,
we were.
That's great. So yeah,
we were good to go.
I was ready to go. I was a little tired on the feet, which was a good. It was important I got that because I'm okay, I need to do some work here so that I'm not tired on my feet on this Disney vacation for sure.
Right. So it's not Disney cruise is not just laying around in chairs all day. There's going to be plenty to do, but you're also going to the parks as part of the cruise, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that is half of the vacation is going to the parks, right? And the most tired I was for some reason, it was one of the last things I did on our third day was just standing in that Persona 3 remake line. For some reason, just staying there. It was the only real line I did. It was 30 minutes, not that bad. But I just standing there for some reason, I was ugh, I feel tired and my feet really hurt. But other than that, I was fine.
Yeah, my feet hurt the first day, and then after that, I was doing all right. But yeah, I need to do some more walking myself. But yeah, we're gonna get into this episode first. I want to thank everybody for joining us. You can get more from Mike and me by joining the Discord at GameMess.net. Give us a good rating wherever you are listening. And hit that like button on YouTube. It helps people find the show. If you want to ask a question...
It's episode 316. Oh, hell yeah.
He's chugging 2 beers right now. It's mostly just going all over his face. People got it. Drop a super chat during the show. Don't interrupt when I'm trying to get money from people.
Everybody sent a super chat $3.16.
There you go. Thank you to Carlos Sain, who's Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube for the use of our theme songs. Thanks to 1UP versus CPU for our artwork. You can find more at 1UpVersusCPU.com. We are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever pods are caught. Thank you to the mods, and support us by going to patreon.com/GameMess. That gets you access to the private channels on our Discord, the monthly Q&A, participation in our monthly game club discussions, 1 month early access to new episodes of Game Mess Jeopardy, and Columbros, our new Columbo podcast. Of course, it also gets you access to all of our shows ad-free. in one handy dandy feed. It actually is very useful. Columbros, though, if you're someone who's like, tight on money, you support us in other ways, that's great. In a couple days, on 9/11, you'll be able to get that episode. Hey, that reminds me of that tragedy. I'm sorry.
Sure does. Sure does.
I'm sorry, everybody. I can't help it. I'm just a bad person, as it turns out.
We know.
Yeah, I don't have to say it. Everyone knows. I got a bunch of news. Everyone, great podcast and yelling at me is what's happening in chat right now.
Still not the darkest podcast we've recorded.
No. That's why I feel comfortable doing this, because we really hit rock bottom today on the voicemail dump truck, so we're good.
Not my fault.
No, well, just your presence made us go in that direction, but other than that, it's not your fault.
I started it. It's probably at least a large part my fault for sure.
Okay, let's see here. Big news topics this week, Mike. You ready for them?
Sure am.
Switch 2 was at Gamescom behind closed doors. Yeah, right. We had this story before. It's now coming again. Switch 2 behind closed doors.
What? It's the Austin episode.
Yeah, it's the Austin thing. I get it now. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Cool. How did he get around that? He leaned into it. He was fine with that, right?
He started it.
Right. Yes, that was
his fault.
Yes, it's his whole thing. And now, that's when all wrestlers should have learned that any chant you do is just going to be the thing that they do forever. If it's even a little bit popular.
If he could take it back, he would.
Yes, I think so. It was net negative, I think. I'm
sorry I interrupted you, Jeff.
No, it's fine. I got a feeling you're going to do it again.
Well, now I'm not. Since you called me out like that and knew what I was going to do, I'm going to admit defeat and let you continue.
Nintendo showed off, I guess a pair of tech demos, or at least one tech demo. Yeah, they showed off a pair. It was Breath of the Wild running at a higher resolution, higher frame rate. That's cool, but there's no guarantee that means there's going to be a Breath of the Wild version for the Switch 2. There probably will be, though, Mike. I think they might do something like that.
Why the fuck not?
Yeah, exactly. One of their best-selling games gets a remaster for a better system. Do you
think it would be that? A standalone, remaster? You think there's no chance that's just going to be and Breath of the Wild 2, or Breath of the Wild will automatically play better on the Switch 2?
That stuff's going to be awkward. I mean, listen, I think if we get backward compatibility, that's a win. I'm not going to... I think if they do backward compatibility, it will kind of probably come with some benefits. But I'm not going to assume that we're going to get those benefits. I think the games will probably run pretty similar to the way they ran on the Switch. And then we might get better versions of some of these games later or something. I honestly have no idea how that's all going to work. Because would Nintendo do a $10 upgrades? They might, but it seems kind of cheap and weird, and Nintendo doesn't seem like the company that would do that. The other demo was the Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, that one that came out. Was that GDC? I don't remember when it came out. It was a while back. It showed off Unreal Engine 5's baseline tech of, hey, we created a city with the press of a button.
It was during that one brief period where we were all talking about the Matrix again.
Yes,
that new movie came out.
It has Lumen, with their live or the dynamic lighting. It has nanite technology in it, which is they no longer have levels of detail for these things where it's if you're a certain distance away, that house is going to be 5 polygons. It's it scales appropriately so it always looks the way it's supposed to look. There's a lot of cool stuff happening on Unreal Engine 5. Basically, a lot of games are going to get made on Unreal Engine 5, so the Switch better be ready for it, essentially. Yep. And it sounds like it's going to be there. The other thing here is that these tech demos were using DLSS, which is also not too surprising. But
encouraging.
Encouraging, exactly. Nintendo and NVIDIA were always going to work really closely together on this stuff. Seems like that's going to lead to something like this. NVIDIA is always working on improving DLSS. And there's DLSS 3.0 and stuff. That's frame generation stuff. We'll see how likely that is on the Switch. Switch 2, I should say. I think there's a chance that some games might get it and might support it, but I don't know if that's going to be a priority, because that's for trying to get 150 frames per second or whatever on these games. And no matter what, the Switch 2 screen's probably not going to be 120 frames per second or higher.
We just need 60.
Exactly. So yeah, this all sounds pretty cool. It's in line with what we've heard Lexi saying, and Jez said something, Insider Gaming had something, Eurogamer now has something, and VGC has corroborated it. This has almost certainly been true. At least for showing it to developers.
I never believed that part about showing it to journalists.
Right, I think that
seems
was
like a stretch.
I think it was just like confused messaging or something like that. Yes, exactly, conflating some stuff there. This is exciting to me, Mike. It's happening. We're probably gonna have to get them talking about it soon, because if they're showing it to developers, they have to know it's gonna leak, like it's starting to leak, right?
Right. That's just, this is just a step to getting closer to actually hearing about this thing. And you know what, Jeff? I'm pretty excited.
Yes.
I am getting very excited to hear about what the Switch 2 is going to be like. Even this stuff here is just encouraging. If the Switch 2 really was basically just a Switch, but with the hope of more steady frame rates, like more games at 60 FPS, and the idea that we're going to be able to play more modern games, we'll get better ports of some of that stuff. And again, expectations are a check. I'm not expecting, PlayStation 5 level stuff here, but comparable to, which means, hey, yeah, maybe we can get those games on here if we make some sacrifices and, do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that. That's pretty good.
Yep. I think it's also, we're not hearing like, oh, what the hardware itself looks like. What this reporting all says is there was an equivalent machine in terms of specs. It was spec'd out in the way that they expect the Switch 2 to be spec'd out. So it's probably maybe a beige box sitting there with the NVIDIA hardware inside of it. But I could imagine a world where it's a bigger screen and big enough to maybe even justify 1080. And if it's 1080, and like I'm someone who thinks most of these screens should be 720, but if it's 1080 and you run most of these games actually at 540 and then use DLSS to upscale it back to 1080, that makes a lot of sense at a certain point. And it's something I kind of hope that's the way they go, because running those games on something that's in between a PS4 and a PS4 Pro with DLSS, and then upscaling it twice, so you already have that integer scaling, and then DLSS doing its magic on top of that. There's some magic that can be done there to make these games run really well. And then you can maybe see a world where most third-party games actually come to the Switch too, at least in some form, one way or the other. Not everything. Some stuff will be too powerful for sure, or require too much power. But in many cases, I think that this is a good sign for support from third parties for the Switch 2, up until the point where you're like, the audience for the Switch 2, how much do they care about EA games? Which that's a whole other conversation, right?
Well, certain EA games, but I had that little conspiracy theory before about, EA said that they're going to make Jedi Survivor for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One all of a sudden. Right. It's like, man, of course they have to be thinking about a Switch 2 version of that. Why not?
Yep, exactly. All right, let's move along here. Daytona 2 is finally getting a home port. Sorta. Yes. Daytona USA 2 will be ported to consoles for the first time in 25 years. The first time ever, but it's been 25 years since the game came out. It will appear in Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, as Sega Racing Classic 2. Obviously, Daytona is a trademarked thing for that race did, the Daytona racetrack. Daytona USA 2 was originally planned for Dreamcast, but was canceled. Other arcade games to appear in Like a Dragon, including Fighting Vipers 2, Flicky, and Galaxy Force. This is what
Fighting Vipers 2 also.
Yes, incredible. That's very cool. This is what Sony took from us, though, getting Daytona USA 2 on the Dreamcast. They killed it just too soon, just a tad too soon. Previous Yakuza games have always featured Sega arcade games. It's actually one of the old Animal Crossing game. It's one of the most fun parts about it. But Sega, has mostly been out of the arcade business. They sold off their business in 2022. They do continue to manufacture and sell arcade machines themselves. They don't run arcades. That's the difference there. Okay. I am excited about this, Mike. Okay, this is cool. Put the game out on the Switch though as well, right?
Right. Yeah, please. I mean, if you're doing this work to get this game finally running on consoles with emulation, please just let me buy it. What I really need, Jeff, is a Sega Model 2, Sega Model 3 board compilation, because there's so many games that are kind of hard to find officially these days. Sega is pretty good about making compilations of all of their Genesis games and stuff like that over and over again, making that stuff. But then if it's a Saturn game, it's a Dreamcast game, or the arcade game, it gets a lot harder, and I would really like to see more of that. But this is great. It's funny because I just played Daytona 2 for the first time in over a decade with you at the last GameWorks in Seattle. And while there, I think I gave 3 people the speech about how it's never been ported to home consoles. And here we are.
Yep, and it's just a couple days later, we got it. I've been saying it, Mike. Everything kind of keeps turning up our way. Like everything's breaking in the direction of the Beef and Cheddar Boys, and I'm very excited about that. I've been like trying to get into Yakuza repeatedly. This one is one of the remakes. I can't even place this one. This is not the next, because this is Gaiden. This is one of the side stories.
This is
right?
Gaiden. So this isn't that one in Hawaii.
Right.
Correct.
Yes.
But this isn't also that one. This isn't also the one recently that took place in like feudal Japan. Right. I can't keep track of it anymore myself. Okay. I don't actually know what this one is.
I probably still will check this one out because I want to. I want to be someone who enjoys Yakuza. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not Gaiden side story. So
yes, yeah,
I mean, but like I guess like the rest of us don't know what that means. For some franchises, side stories are just another story, right?
Yes,
they don't
well,
need
for
special...
Ninja Gaiden, it was the ninja side story, but this is the story. There was no ninja, at least not in that series. All right. Xbox says Starfield topped 1 million concurrent players on launch day. Not too surprising. I think they've now said 6 million people have played the game, making it the most played Bethesda game in its first week. Also, not too surprising. It better be with Game Pass, but the fact that they're hitting these numbers is still something that they need to be doing. Saw
just a little bit ago they said 6 million.
6 million. That's total. Right. Yes, that's what I mentioned. Yes, 6 million players in total. That's pretty good. And I think people will be like, "Well, how many copies did it sell?" And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, but they also have it on Game Pass, so it'd be weird just to talk about how many it sold because they're also getting. It's fine if people play it that way. So getting players in there is how they're going to frame this, and yeah, that makes it difficult to be like, well, how much money are they making on this? I bet they're making a lot of money on Starfield. I mean, you just kind of you can't sell that many copies in early access for a premium fee. Without making a lot of money. And this thing is going to do fine. It's going to sell for years and years and years. And this is just the start of it. So good for Bethesda.
Yeah, I'm sure it's doing very well. Like, I am also like not frustrated, but it's hard because I don't know exactly how to relate these numbers to like other gaming numbers, except maybe some other Game Pass numbers. And it's clearly doing very well. Maybe we'll find out soon if subscription numbers have gone up, and that'll be an even better sign. And I bet they have.
Yep, definitely. A couple more stories here. Martinet calls Miyamoto Papa is the headline I put here. Did you watch this video, nice. Mike?
I kind of skimmed through it. It's sort of a weird video.
Yeah, it's a weird video. They kind of just reiterate what they've already talked about, which is Martinet's done playing Mario. Starting with Super Mario Brothers Wonder, there will be a new voice actor. Nintendo said we'll talk more about that later, which means like when the credits come out, they might say something or they might not. And Martinet is not like leaving Nintendo. He's going to be an ambassador, which means he signs autographs and talks to fans at events. Right, something he's done for years already. But he's going to keep doing that. And then they had an anecdote about how they were in Japan. And Martinet's so tall, he almost hit his head on the doorway going into a restaurant. It's that's cute. And then Miyamoto's like, he also calls me daddy. He didn't really say that. He says, when he sees me, he says, Papa in the Mario voice. And then they cut to Martinet and he goes, Papa, just like Mario. It actually was pretty cute. But yeah, I mean, we've been waiting for this video. This video is here and not in any sort of direct. Do you think that means anything? I guess this video, watching it now, I'm glad it wasn't in a direct. It would have been weird there, right?
It would have been weird. I don't know if it says anything about directs happening one way or the other.
Right, same.
I personally am kind of on like team. I don't know. I don't really see it, but who knows? That's just based off of nothing there. But it's a cute enough video. It's a little weird in terms of we don't really know why this is happening.
Yeah.
So I can't help but fill in the blanks, and the blanks are pretty much for me just Nintendo probably thinks Charles Martinet is old and they want to get a new guy going now.
Yep. That's kind of the sense I get, that they're looking to establish a new era for a bunch of stuff. Kind of going into this era of Nintendo becoming an entertainment company, something Doug Bowser said this past week. And they're like, okay, so let's get everything set up for the next 30 years and what that looks like. And I think they're like, okay, well, what if maybe we need to start fresh? That feels very corporate and Nintendo obviously is a corporation, but it's like, Nintendo always works backward from, well, what's going to bring joy to the players? That's how they frame it. But a lot of times they kind of actually do stick to their guns on that. If they're kind of being cold and calculating, that is a little bit weird, I think, for the Mario voice, something that's been consistent now since 1996. But
right. Well, I mean, they could have also introduced a new voice here, and they didn't. And
right.
I don't know why. I don't know. I guess the generous take is like, well, this one's about Charles Martinet, but there's a part of me that's like, they do not want the new voice actor to become like famous. They do not want people to really know and have a face and a personality to the new voice actor. They just want it to be Mario.
Yeah,
Mario's the star.
Yeah, I kind of get that feeling too. No E3 next year, but maybe a complete reinvention in 2025. That's according to the rumors.
Jan.
Yes, exactly. Reed Pop and the ESA have parted ways. The ESA will not hold an E3 at the Los Angeles Convention Center in 2023. The ESA is working on a complete reinvention for E3 for 2025. But the first of all, Reed Pop won't be involved. I Am 8-Bit and Jeff Keighley won't be involved. They've already got their own thing. And the ESA, when they tried to do this, sucked on eggs, sucked on toast, or however the saying goes. And now they're going to try to do it again by themselves or bring in someone else. Who's left to work with? The idea that they're going to have some complete new thing in 2025 and be able to actually competently put it together is almost laughable at this point, right?
Yeah, come on. And I was like the last one to be like, I think E3 is actually dead. I always tell people, you guys have all been saying E3 is dead for decades now. Boy, does it feel dead at the moment. And who knows if that's forever, but I just can't see the ESA being able to pull it out, especially having that spectacular failure last year, right? And that seemed like, okay, this makes sense. Yeah, Repop, that makes sense. Well, that didn't work out. So I don't know what you could possibly do now to make this suddenly come together.
Yep, that's kind of what I'm thinking is if Repop couldn't make it work, it's not really about the sort of the company that they're working with. It's about there's something fundamentally flawed about this idea of E3, at least from the company's perspective. So like we always say, it's got a lot of value. People show up, they would watch an E3 if something was called E3, even if it's bad. I think most people would still be like, well, I want to see, maybe there's going to be some fun announcement for a game that I really care about. That stuff kind of can't happen unless those companies are excited to be a part of it, and they don't seem to be, and they definitely weren't this past year. The idea that they're going to skip the next year and then everyone's going to be ready to go the year after that seems implausible at best.
And I mean, can you imagine Nintendo ever getting back involved with it at this point? Now that they just did their own thing, and it's a pretty great start for that.
No, it's Nintendo Live all going forward. It's going to be all Nintendo Live for them.
I think so.
Is now the time to actually play Jedi Survivor. This is the wrong thing there. Okay, yes. They updated Jedi Survivor so that it actually kind of runs great on console and PC. It now has DLSS support and runs great there. They squashed a lot of the bugs, took about 6 or 7 updates, but the game is in really good shape now, according to people who are playing it. Digital Foundry's like, we're going back in there. We're going to take a look at this. I think that's pretty exciting. I don't know if I have time for this. For me, I'm afraid this game might have missed its window.
Maybe. I do want to go back to it. I mean, so much of why I initially said I was waiting is like, I'm going to wait for them to fix this. It took a bit longer than I would have liked, but we did get there. And I am glad it did happen. There's a part of me that's kind of somewhat like, man, so this game really did just come out too early. And of course it did. Maybe all games come out too early. All games can benefit from more time. I get it.
Yep.
But it is just sort of weird sometimes to see, like, oh yeah, just like, yeah, more development time, and this game is just going to run a lot better.
Do you think that had they actually delayed it and it went past the release of Zelda and went past and it's like releasing like around this time of year, and I mean obviously this is how long the updates took, so like let's say it's coming out like right now, do you think its sales would have been hurt by that, like because it's got so many other games around it?
Maybe I think it definitely was able to find something of a window when it came out, right? Even though it was still already getting crowded, I think that time did benefit it. So I guess I can understand that. But like December this year is not going to be crazy. I can't think of any big December games. Maybe December would have also been fine. I'm not sure. But then you have to pay all these people for
There's one thing in
6-7 months more development.
Yeah, you're right though. Yeah, maybe you find another time slot in the year. Although, yeah, I guess it was the top selling game the month it came out. It did very well. They're already working on another sequel. So I think they are probably like, hey, this did fine. We didn't really pay a price for what we did here. And then we did get it working eventually. Now everyone feels good about it. So it's like, is the incentive there that change? We always talk about that. Like what's the incentive? They were probably like, this is fine. It worked out fine.
Hopefully by the time I get back to Final Fantasy 16, that's also going to have much better performance than when I was playing it.
Yeah, I don't. That one I'm like a little less sure about them giving that another big update.
They announced during, I think during PAX that it is getting like DLC.
Yes, I think it's getting 2 DLCs, right?
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom getting 0, but it's getting 2 DLCs.
That's interesting because they had those really ambitious DLC plans for Final Fantasy 13, and eventually, like, they stopped. They released a bunch of them. They're like, that's enough. Actually, never mind. We're not doing these other ones. So we'll see how far this goes.
Okay, let's see here. F-Zero GX producer would like to work on F-Zero again. Toshihiro Nagoshi, producer of F-Zero GX, is open to working on the series again. Nagoshi has fond memories of working on F-Zero GX. Nagoshi's new role as the founder of his own studio may take working with Nintendo on a new F-Zero game more or may make that more or less likely, because he is the Yakuza guy who went to, where did he go? I think he's at under Tencent now or something, or
Tencent, I believe.
Nexon, something like that. Yeah, and so he's like been being asked about this because it's a series that he's associated with at this point, but he seems to really carry a torch for F-Zero and seems to really care about it. He says that working on it was very nostalgic when everything's back on it. But whenever Nintendo's asked about F-Zero, they're like, hey, yeah, we like F-Zero, but that's a hard one to bring back. And everyone goes, why? You bring back everything else. But yeah,
just believe us.
The Nagoshi does say, he's like, hey, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe it would be a good idea for Nintendo to work with a third party.
Jeff, I just talked about the DLC for Final Fantasy 13 a bunch. I meant 15. Sorry for the brain fart, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. I didn't even hear you.
You should have corrected me then, but
I actually didn't hear you say 13. I just heard 15 in my brain, but I had a brain fart to correct your brain fart.
Okay. They should bring back F-Zero and they should let this guy do it. What the hell?
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, that would be great. I mean, F-Zero GX probably will get like a remaster at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if like we get a direct in the next year or so that has an F-Zero GX remaster, just as one of the games, sort of like Metroid Prime in there.
Come on. Yeah. That game already looks so good. It would not be very difficult, man.
And then let's play that and hopefully everyone buys it and we encourage Nintendo to be like, oh, that sold, 1.5 million copies. What if we did a new one? It's like, yeah, what if? You should.
What if you did?
That'd be great.
Please.
That does it for the news so far, Mike. Why don't we take a quick break? We'll come back. We'll do some super chats, and we'll get into the rest of the show. Does that sound good?
Sounds fantastic.
Ready.
All right. How you doing, Mike?
Good.
Okay.
Let me see. I got the super chats up right here.
Super
chat. Okay, cool. I'm going to bring us back in. All right, Mike. We got a bunch of super chats. Why don't you read those for me real quick?
Yeah, sure. Big Jimbo Ryan says, I'm really enjoying Starfield, but I gotta say, the lack of beans is immersion breaking. Only lentils? Come on. 9 out of 10. I really hope Elder Scrolls 6 is on PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I hope for your sake, I hope it is too, Jim. Definitely.
I bet it won't be. Big Jumbo Ryan comes back. It says, if you were to look up the Yoshi What sticker, you would see another reason I dislike Yoshi. We have no major events planned for the rest of 2023. Smirky face.
Oh, smirky face, Jim Ryan. Always using that smirky face. Is that what stickers from Mario Party, right?
Well, good news, because the next super chat is from Big Jimbo Ryan. It says, Yoshi, what sticker from Mario Party Superstars? Yes. To clarify.
Yeah, that's the one where he looks like he's being penetrated anally.
By all 19 inches of venom.
By all 19 inches of venom. That's right.
Well.
Why don't you like that? That's what I don't get, Jim Ryan. You're kink shaming? Is that what's happening here?
Come on,
Jim. I thought you were better than that. You're from the UK, a bastion of tolerance.
What the fuck is even happening here?
Burrito says, just wanted to say hello. Please take my money. We will, Burrito. Thank you.
Thank you, Burrito. I appreciate your money.
Oh, Greg says, now that football is back, will the Browns or Lions have more wins at the end of the season? Should we figure out some kind of fun bet? Jeff, who has more? Oh, wait, are the Lions winning right now?
No, they're actually losing right now.
Okay, great. Yes, let's do a bet for the season.
Okay.
There should be something gaming related.
Gaming related. I was gonna say we just whoever wins, the loser has to buy them a dinner at what's that barbecue place?
Mabel's. Okay.
Mabel's. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Dinner bet.
All right, I like it. There we go. Dinner
cool.
bet. I like it.
All
Dinner
right,
bet.
fantastic.
Remind us because we're gonna forget at the end of the season.
Yes. Someone set a reminder right now for 18 weeks from now. 18 weeks from now.
D-Boing sent a super chat with no message. Thank you, Dean. Lurking with my gherkin says, love the immersion in Starfield. The first locker I opened at the mining outpost had nothing but Kleenex and lotion. I mean, what else would you need? Maybe a magazine, but sure.
Bethesda got pretty cheeky with that first area with like the lady with the dirty face and stuff, being like, "Oh no, it's another game with all dirty faces." It's like, no, it's just this first lady.
You think that was about you?
I don't think it was about me. I think it was about people who complain about dirty faces, which was
that's
a huge
what I meant. I meant people like you.
Yeah, sure.
I know what you mean because I was worried about that.
I was like, I'm like never someone who like cared too much about the dirty faces, but then when I get a mod or start modding, I'm like, ooh yeah, the clean faces mod, let's do that. So I do install that.
I wonder what they'll do for the next fall. I wonder if like maybe they could set somewhere where not everything is completely just rubble and dirt. Like there's got to be some city or maybe some place that's like, yeah, of course there's a nuclear fallout and it sucks, but like we still shower, we still take baths, we like cleaned up the rubble in our houses because we still live there, obviously.
They've done like West Virginia, like mountainy, foresty stuff. So it's like, where do they?
Right. I definitely think they want to do
like
something
Hawaii.
more. Hawaii would that'd be kind of fun. Cleveland. Just do Cleveland.
Okay, just do Cleveland. You're right.
Well, they've done expansions and stuff in Pittsburgh. Just go all Pittsburgh. Just go full Pittsburgh.
Okay, there you
go. Next one is from the Uncharted Wolf. It says, if Metal Gear Solid 2 isn't on the 2001 Game of the Year list, I will send a video of me literally crying. We are doing that later. I already know Mike will say Metal Gear Solid 2 is good, but Daytona is better. With the all right. You don't know what I'm gonna say. All right, you have no idea. You don't know me. Shigeru Miyamoto says Charles is totally fine. He's actually right here next to me. Hello, it's Charles. Wahoo! Wow. Now I'm concerned because the real Shigeru Miyamoto called him Charles San every time very clearly. Right. So what's going on here? What's with the disrespect all of a sudden, Mr.
And when they're alone,
Miyamoto?
he calls him Chuck. So Shiggy, I don't know. This is sus.
It's a sus as hell. Oh hell yeah.
Oh hell.
Yeah. What do you think? I don't know. Do you like? What do you think it's going to be like when you see that name for the new Mario voice right there? How do you think you're gonna feel?
Well, I mean, if it's just
it doesn't matter how you feel.
You proud of yourself again?
That's The Rock. Oh, well, that's all right.
What number episode do we do The Rock for?
Is there a Black Adam number?
The Black Adam number. That's right.
How much did How many hundreds of millions of dollars did Black Adam
cost? Oh, 7. Oh, we already passed that episode. Shit.
Enjoy your gaming.
Thanks, The Rock.
Thank you, Mr. Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yes, I appreciate it. Connell Wood sent a super chat now. Said, when you retire, what will you be ambassadors for? Arby's. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
God, being an Arby's ambassador would rule.
They have the meats, and I can tell people about it. I do tell people about it.
Talk about so much about it. It'll be fantastic. I was talking about Arby's a lot the other day. I'm just always giving people Arby's facts. For some reason, it's coming up. I did an interview, and for some reason, Arby's came up a bunch. And I was just talking about it. It's very exciting. I think we were telling Ben Starr about Arby's at one point. I'm not sure.
That sounds like something we would do.
Sounds like
it sounds like something he would want us to do, frankly.
Something we did while we like shoved a pretzel bite covered in nuclear yellow nacho cheese down his throat.
Just like smushing it through his teeth.
This is America.
Yeah, taste it.
Welcome to the Cheesecake Factory.
Any more super chats, Mike?
Oh, that's it. Sorry, Jeff. Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
No problem.
Thank you, everybody. We'll keep sending in super chats. We will read them before the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll get to all those before the end of the episode. Thanks again for sending all those in. Thanks for all the support. All right. You know what? Let's take one more quick break, and then we'll get set up for our game that we're going to play today, where me and Mike are going to decide the best games of 2001. Be right back.
Can I get a new drink?
Sure.
It reminds me of that tragedy.
It reminds me of that tragedy.
Oh, no, what a treasure.
That's just too funny. Okay, let's see here.
Don't laugh at it. It was people died.
Oh, God. All right, let's see here.
All right.
Sheets.
Do we have a game? Something? Nothing? Oh, you're just doing that.
I'm getting this set up. I don't know if we have a Benji Bop game. I'm assuming we do.
Do you have Benji Bump? I don't know. We'll be pretty last minute if we have.
No game tonight.
No game tonight. Okay. Thank you, Sean.
No game
little brother. It's 316 episode. What the fuck that guy sounds like?
That's pretty close.
Dumb shit they say in wrestling.
Yeah, they say what usually.
I always say brother because that's the only thing I know for a fact that every wrestler says. So
Yeah.
A lot of wrestlers say brother. That's true.
That's true. You got it.
that
All right.
and
Mike is there. Let me move you down.
the right.
Oh my God, your head got cut off.
Oh God, like that kid.
All right, let's do that.
I bought one of these pin board things because I have so many pins, especially after packs. I'm trying to
Look at
Oh,
that.
that's cool.
trying to
Dude.
organize do that.
You're such a nerd.
I'm slowly turning
Baby.
into a pin guy, and I hate that I am.
Oh,
You should go to
pin
PAX
guys.
and trade pins.
I hated them.
No.
Yeah, you'd be
At
that
the
guy.
anime conventions.
I got like 5. I'm like, I can't do
That
more.
is Mario ones are so
Exchange the
good.
pin.
Those
They
are
are.
cool.
My
How
kids
they
my
gave
kids
us
took the
this?
Pikmin one, and I'm like, please be careful.
Oh, those are the anniversary ones. What the hell?
Yeah.
They just had those there?
They
Yeah.
were they?
That's what
How did you
happened.
get them? We just,
It was in the bag that everybody got when they went in.
Oh,
It was in the
swag
welcome
bag.
bag.
That's cool.
Nice.
Got
Those
that.
are ones I sold for like $200 that one time. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, damn. Fucking snatch that shit out of your child and put it on
well,
eBay,
she
bro.
went to the pick. I kept the Mario ones. Don't you worry about that.
We got that. I was like, please don't.
Here.
I was like, nobody tell Dan that they don't have a Mario 3D World pin in this collection.
Yeah, everyone keep that to
Oh,
your
that's
damn
just a
self.
crime.
Okay, I have the sheet ready, so I think we are good. Let me bring us back in.
Shit.
And we're back, and we're talking about the best games of 2001 this time on this episode of Game Mess Decides. That's what we're deciding. We've done every year since 95?
We started 95 was when we started.
So if you're watching the video version, I'm scrolling through them real quick. Chrono Trigger, Super Mario 64, Final Fantasy 7, Metal Gear Solid, Soul Calibur, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. These are our best games of the year so far for those each previous years. Now we're doing 2001. Mike, I know it's going to be number 1, pretty sure already. But we can
Let's see.
we can maybe move around it. Well, we'll see how it goes. Bunch of good games came out this year. 2001 was a really good year, really solid year.
Was.
It's not like a best year ever contender, but it's like top 10 candidate. I think.
Surprisingly good, especially considering, really young for PlayStation 2 still, and then the first year for the original Xbox and the GameCube.
Yes, exactly. Now, I mean, first year for Xbox means that you get a Halo Combat Evolved in that first year, which I think is a very good game.
Yep. Halo Combat. Even though we are not Halo people, boy, that sure does matter. That's got to be on there. Halo 1. Even I liked Halo 1, of course. I really liked Halo 1. It was
I liked it a
ton
lot.
of fun. And I'm Mr. I don't get it with GoldenEye. With Halo, I got it. Halo
Yes.
was when, first-person shooters on console are pretty much now just as viable as they are on PC. This is a really fun campaign. It was really fun doing split screen or doing the LAN parties, which, was incredible. Everybody was doing that, even though it seemed like a pain. It was relatively easier than you might think. And people just love to do it. I did a couple of those. It was fun.
People do love to do it. Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
No problem. Yeah. Halo is just, you're right. That's the one where, it was past the point of this is awkward compared to playing first person shooters on PC. And it's like, oh, this is just what first person shooters are supposed to feel like on console. And it's like they solved so many of the problems, and it was just a real surprise. And to this day, it's like some of the most fun you could have, like a local multiplayer playing Halo Combat Evolved. So yeah, that's almost up there for sure. What else do you think should go up there, Mike?
A favorite of mine, absolutely not quite. Excuse me, not quite a GameCube launch game, but pretty shortly afterwards was Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah, that's a very good game as well. I mean, God, I played so much of this in those early GameCube days.
A ton of it.
Yeah, because it was like, for one thing, GameCube games were, it's not like a dry system, but those early years, there was a little bit, it took some time between big games, and this is just what we played. This is, we were well past the point of, we're going to play all the party games. We're going to play Mario Kart 64 and GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and this or that. It's just like at a certain point it became all Super Smash Brothers Melee for a solid year, 2 years or something like that. And for us, it still was a party game. We played it with items on. We played 4 players constantly. but it still was just a really, really good time. And it's so much better than Super Smash Brothers for 64.
Such a huge improvement.
Yes.
Like I like Super Smash Bros. Nintendo 64.
Me too. It's a great game.
This game has so many more characters and levels and things like that. It looks a lot better, obviously, but not even just because like the graphics are better. I like the just art direction of it more. They kind of like made things a bit more realistic. Like this is the game where Mario has that real noticeable denim, right?
The stitching on the denim, yes.
Yeah, so that's really fun. This is the one with the ridiculous music where they had like a lot of orchestral rearrangements of these songs, and it sounded absolutely gorgeous. That opening intro so good. I never stopped playing this game throughout the entire life of the GameCube. I don't know there's another game that's like that for a system for me, where it just was never not in the constant rotation. The entire time the GameCube was a thing, even well into the Wii, honestly. I was just playing Smash Brothers Melee constantly.
Yep. There's another GameCube game that I'm pretty sure came out in 2001 in the United States, but maybe you can help keep me honest there.
Sure.
Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader.
Launch game in the US.
That's what I thought. I love that game. I think to this day it holds up visually, and even as like one of those in between arcade flight games and sim flight games, one of those weird console ones. And it's like this for me. This like defines that genre, at least for the sci-fi side of things. So I mean, it's got great looking levels. It's another big upgrade over the N64 version. And yeah, I love going back to this game to this day. And at the time, it really stood out. I played that demo disc that you could get in the or like as the GameCube was coming out, where I think I had the first level or something like that. I played that so many times. It's a really good game.
It's incredible, an all-time great level, because it's just sometimes it's like, we'll hold the trench run to the end. Here's the trench run, that climactic scene. That's the first level. It's so cool. This game is beautiful. It's also just a really good like show off of those sticks, the analog shoulder buttons on the GameCube, because this game just worked really well with that. It felt so good. It was such a good looking game, really fun menus. I remember, so this was before we had even the DVDs of the original trilogy. So at the time, this was the cleanest way to see clips from that movie.
That's
it
right.
Blew my mind. Like it looked so good here.
It looked really good, and like the transitions into the gameplay, because the game looks just amazing. It's one of the best looking games on that system, even in for a launch game. And that was Factor 5's MO. They were just so good at technology, so far ahead of everyone else. They were the ones that were getting full. They were doing like full voiceover for like Battle for Naboo on the N64, where they did a commentary for the entire game. It's like that's on a cartridge where space was at a premium, and they were putting audio, and audio files were notoriously big back then, but they were able to compress it because they were that good at stuff. That stuff carried over to the GameCube, and they became wizards on the GameCube as well, a system where everyone was kind of getting really good results. They were getting just miraculous results. So
ridiculous.
Yes, ridiculous stuff.
I mean, it wasn't for I know Halo, obviously one of the most important launch games of all time. It came out around then, but like Rogue Leader is such a fantastic launch game. It's so good.
Yep.
Whew. Man, Jeff, I'm looking at this list. There are a lot of good games.
It's a lot of really good games. Yes. There's a couple more that I feel like have to be on there already. So
yeah, this is going to be interesting. We might have to break some hearts here.
Yeah, we're almost certainly going to have to.
We'll see. I will for the next one. There's so many places I can go here, but I think right now I am going to bring up Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. A game that I've kind of like boomeranged on a bit. Like I played it and really liked it. Then like I was like, that game's actually really stupid in a lot of ways. And like I let that stuff bother me. And then like a few years will pass. Like, no, that game was actually pretty genius. That game was really had a lot of stuff figured out and was always a lot of fun to play. It always was just a refinement of the fun gameplay systems in Metal Gear Solid 1. Very good looking PlayStation 2 game at a time where like a lot of PlayStation 2 games were still kind of looking a little rough or a little bit disappointing, a little jaggy. This game was looking very slick.
Yes, I never really played Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, but it's the one whenever I watch someone play, it's it is always that stuff of like, oh, here's how it predicted the future. That's pretty surprising how on point a lot of that stuff was. Kojima's very good at nailing some of that stuff down, reading a lot of Wikipedia articles and then bringing that stuff into the game. I suppose back then he was maybe actually reading real encyclopedias, but
yeah, back then, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, this is what we're like. I have heard that boomerang, not just from you, but from a lot of people. And it's like, it does seem like one that is more successfully standing the test of time than a lot of games where in reconsideration, people are like, you know what? The things that we're being hard on don't matter all that much. And the stuff that it's good at is really good.
Right. You know, I spent a lot of time being mad about Revolver Ocelot, like turning into Liquid Snake. And, you know, that stuff's still a little goofy, but whatever.
Yep.
The game feels really good to play. It's super fun.
I played this year, even though I played a lot of Super Smash Bros. Melee this year in 2001. The game I probably played the most, because it's the one that I could play when hanging out with friends because they wanted to play it, is Grand Theft Auto 3. Which I really, really, really enjoyed. It's that was like one of the first sandbox games for me of just go in there and make your own fun. And now these days it's like pretty primitive in terms of like all you kind of do is drive around and crash into stuff. But back then it was really novel of getting those, trying to get as many stars as you could, trying to survive as long as possible, do as much destruction as possible, and see how long you can live. And then when you die, hand the control off to your friend, and they do the same thing, and it's fun to watch. Grand Theft Auto 3 really works for me.
It was a big deal, and it was one of those instances where we all knew it was a big deal. It was kind of immediate that this was sort of going to be the future of gaming.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it was like one of those first big open world games, and it all came together well. It definitely got refined as even during the PlayStation 2, or you think about just how much more refined, Vice City and then San Andreas. It is incredible just how much further they take this. But GTA 3 was already a lot of fun and a really impressive game.
Yeah, they already had a lot of the ideas in like Grand Theft Auto 2 even. It's just like you need to get that camera in close and make it polygonal and kind of get close to the action to really make it feel visceral, which is an overused word now. But back then that was a really important step to get to. And with Grand Theft Auto 3, they fully made that leap without any sort of compromises. And then they were able to build on that with more detail going forward and more verbs, especially in San Andreas, where it's like that. You could just do so many different things in that game. But Grand Theft Auto 3 was a really strong start for that whole concept of 3D Grand Theft Auto games.
I see a couple games on here that like I would definitely say, but they're also big Jeff games. I'm going to see if you bring them up first. Sure. Right now, I want to bring up Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy.
Right.
I think definitely the best of the games that were trying to just be, or taking their most inspiration from Mario 64.
This is before they were taking inspiration from Grand Theft Auto.
Right. And I like, Jak 2 and Jak 3 are also good. I like those games. It's like interesting, like to see the shift, but I do kind of prefer this a bit more whimsical, just straight up 3D platforming stuff. And it works really good here. It's a really pretty game. It's a really fun game. It has a lot of good movement mechanics. It is a bit more like open world again, like that, or open zone, I guess you could call it, right?
That's right.
Like that Mario, yeah. And it just always worked really well for me. This is a really fun game. You can already see like Naughty Dog's just kind of presentation chops on display here.
This is a Jak and Daxter series is one I really want to play. I've never really played it, so I need to get.
You should do that because they decompiled it for PC recently.
Exactly.
Right?
So I might actually almost like I'll install it on my Steam Deck or the Roger Ally. That could be a lot of fun. Advanced Wars came out this year.
Hey, there you go. There's one of them.
That is a really good tactics game that really, it was the introduction of this franchise in the West. And it was a really smart introduction of making it slick and fun and charming and having like really fun characters and making it really friendly for the Game Boy Advance, a system that like something like this is really well built for, where it's these pockets of strategy, these, a handful of moves, or maybe a little bit longer, maybe like half an hour to an hour's worth of gameplay. And it was just really great looking game, really colorful, and one that I think where the tactics and the strategy actually hold up really well in terms of tickling that part of your brain where it's a little bit like a puzzle, but it is still also strategy, especially when you're building units, light resource management. Again, stuff that fits well with the Game Boy Advance. And I played so much of this game. I really love Advance Wars.
I know we've already given up a lot of ups to the Tony Hawk series, Jeff, but
yeah,
my favorite entry in the series actually comes out this year, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. This is where you have the reverb, right? So you can the combos can go on for so long at this point.
This is what Tony Hawk is now. Like this is when they figured it all out.
Right, just a ton of really fun levels in this one. The Foundry, the Canada level, the suburb, the cruise ship. Gosh, I don't know. When I think of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, this is still the one that I think of. This kind of felt like this kind of was like the Zenith for me, because after this we had Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, and that had the more get open zone gameplay that became the standard for that series going forward. But I will always prefer this kind of run-based, smaller level design.
Yep.
Yeah, it just feels so good. I love this game.
Yeah, I do too. I adore Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. It kind of is the sweet spot for me as well. Sometimes I really like 4. I like some of the levels in 4 a whole bunch. But Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 with the revert and that's what it's like. Man, I could do these million-point, not just runs, but million-point combos where I just got this perfect line through this level, and I can basically exhaust all of my meter for doing grind moves, and then I can move that into doing some lip moves, and then we can start going take that down into this half pipe, and now we'll start doing some vert, and all of it will be tied together with either manuals or the revert, and it's just it's really amazing how awesome that can feel when you're really getting the flow of things. And it's when it was like relatively easy to understand how to do these things, and a very high skill ceiling where you could just keep getting better and better.
Yeah.
And this is another game I played just a ton of at that time.
This year's a lot better than I thought. This might be one of our hardest ones we've done.
This does feel like the hardest one that we've done so far, just based on.
I still have a few to bring up.
Yes, definitely. Let's see. I'm kind of like trying to be more deliberate now with what I'm gonna throw out there.
Couple big ones, so.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know. I might be good on mine. I mean, Luigi's Mansion was fun. I like that. I'm not going to put it on this list for Game of the Year.
No, sure. It's in Monkey Ball. I think there's one that if I say, you might have some stronger thoughts on.
Oh, man, maybe I'm probably just forgetting it. Yeah, what is it?
Castlevania Circle of the Moon.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Holy shit. Year. Oh, man, that was this year, wasn't it? Oh, my God, that game is so good.
Yeah, we got Circle of the Moon, baby.
Circle of the Moon feels really, really good. I really like its simple but fun card combo system of just like, here's 2 rows of cards, and depending on which 2 you have activated, you're going to have a different special move, and some of them are going to be really gameplay heavy, and some of them are just going to be like fun attacks, but it's like really simple to understand. But you get these cards by fighting enemies, and while you get XP from them, occasionally they're going to drop one of these cards. So these enemies you fight over and over again. There's multiple reasons to keep fighting them each time. And I'm someone who I was playing Mina the Hollower at PAX, and after a while the programmer was sitting there. She's like, "You don't have to fight everything. You could run past some of these things." And that's my thing. I can't help but fight everything. So a game that incentivizes that and rewards that. Not just with the XP, which is a great way to do it. And that's Castlevania Symphony of the Night had that stuff figured out. But like with like these great card drops as well, that feels really good. And then overall, it's just a really well made game. The biggest ding at the time was the Game Boy Advance screen was too dark. Something that isn't a problem anymore, and wasn't a problem as soon as the Game Boy Advance SP came out. And for me, it wasn't even a problem with the Game Boy Advance. I had no problem seeing that. That's back when my eyes were better.
Fine.
Yes, it's. It's a
great soundtrack too, really good music.
Yeah, really good for the Game Boy Advance, but also kind of just good in general. It's for me, this is the prime example of an Igavania for Igarashi's games.
Even though it wasn't him, and he like disowned it later.
Yes, exactly. Yes, but like this concept is kind of what I associate with the Metroidvania, for the Castlevania Metroidvania games. This is what I think of.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, there's like a bunch. I'll probably just let chat bring up on their own. I'm sure they will. Salute to Sonic Adventure 2. I'm sorry, buddy. Probably not going to make it. A big one, though. Okay, so this was one I want to bring up. Eco.
Yeah, I was wondering if you want to bring up Eco. Actually, there's a couple more I wonder if you're going to bring up. But.
Yeah, Eco is very good, but it was also like, it felt like already, it was like the first of these kind of like, it seems like we're getting a lot of samey games. We kind of had one clear direction gaming was going at this point, Jeff, and then Eco came out. And it sort of started this other branch that would almost eventually kind of go in like this indie path, the more arty path, the more narrative-driven, subtle path that we still have today. This is one of the first times I can really remember. It feels like the internet really helped a game get noticed a lot.
Yeah,
like it
that's
felt
true.
Like this was kind of pre some of that stuff. This game may have had a hard time finding an audience because it wasn't a game with a lot of promotion, per se, but it was a game that sort of went viral. Everybody was talking about how cool and unique this game was.
Yeah, it definitely was one that like caught on later than when it came out, and it was and it was just based on that style. And for me, like at that time, coming out of Eco and then getting excited for Shadow of the Colossus later, it was like, this is what gaming is going to turn into. And it's like, there is definitely a fork of stuff that's trying to be similar to that, but none of these big companies really try to make games like Eco anymore. And so it's like, it was this special moment in time, and kind of a game that still stands out in a lot of ways. It stood out then. It stands out even more these days, I think.
Then also still one of the better Final Fantasies. Final Fantasy X did come out in 2001. This was back when Final Fantasy still could be a huge deal. Like Final Fantasy X is one of the best-selling PlayStation 2 games, right? So it was a giant deal. It was also back when Square Enix was just easily in a position to have, or Squaresoft still then, their games be the best-looking game, right? Just ridiculous production values. They changed the ATB battle system to one that was actually really cool. I'm just kind of sad they never used it more. Where you can kind of see the character portraits. It's the battle system that that Lord of the Rings game would use later this generation. So that was fun. There's a lot to like in Final Fantasy X. Another amazing soundtrack by Nobuo Uematsu. I'm sure we'll hear some Final Fantasy X music this weekend. Definitely go to that Distant Worlds concert. Yeah, just a lot of fun, cool stuff happening in Final Fantasy X.
What about Silent Hill 2?
Yeah, that's another one.
I know you're a fan of that, but enough of so to put it in the top 5 here?
It might be hard just for, like, I'm not the biggest Silent Hill person, but Silent Hill 2,
right,
that's the one that everybody agrees is great. And it is. It's great. I think it's definitely the best of sort of the Resident Evil kind of likes, but also does a good job of being its own thing. All the multiple endings are a lot of fun. It's just a real moody game. It is very good at being Resident Evil. Not Resident Evil. It's very good at being Silent Hill 2, I mean, right?
Yes.
Like, it figured out its identity, and it just kind of nailed that.
Let's see. I think this came out this year, but it might have been the previous year. Let me just check real quick. Golden Sun came out in 2001. I love Golden Sun. It is definitely it's a standout RPG for the Game Boy Advance. It would have trouble playing on this list.
It's gonna have a hard time.
It's gonna have a real hard time here. But
we'll see.
But I mean, you know what? That's coming to the Nintendo Switch Online here pretty soon. I will probably replay it around that time, and I hope it holds up. I expect it to. I expect it to still be very fun. But I don't think it's going to be able to crack the top 5 here.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. But yeah, we brought up a lot of the big games here. I bet our Discord community is going to have some suggestions for some of the ones we maybe didn't bring up, but they want to. I'll be curious to see what they think and where they land on some of this, because I'm not sure what the top 5 looks like right now. This is a real tough one.
Yep, I'm gonna bring that up right now. Just give me a second as we find that stuff. I'm sure it's in podcast stuff. There it is. Thank you, Christian. Okay, yes, let's see. Mr. Bowler says Halo Combat Evolved is my choice for best. Tokyo Game Life says Paper Mario, and yes, it's better than Thousand Year Door. It's just not true, but I like Paper Mario a lot.
Good try.
Duck Sauce says Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. Let's see, the Midfield Wolf 2. You look at this image and tell me 2001 isn't one of the best years in gaming. He says for the this is a PS2 Fall and Holiday 2001 exclusive software title list. It's Grand Theft Auto 3, Ace Combat, something. 4, thank you. Dark Alliance, that's what Baldur's Gate, Deadly Alliance.
I've been playing that not too long ago on GameCube. That's a fun game.
Yes. Eco, Devil May Cry, Jack and Daxter.
We didn't say anything about Devil May Cry. The first Devil May Cry never really was able to super gel with and get very far in personally.
Gran Turismo 3, Metal Gear Solid 2, Final Fantasy 10, and Silent Hill 2. Man, that was a strong year for the PS2.
Very good year. I mean, PlayStation 2's like sort of launch window was not that great actually, and then just like all throughout 2001, just banger after banger. They got into a groove really quickly. Again, I feel bad. Gran Turismo 3 just didn't really play a whole lot of that, but I know people like it a lot.
Let's see. Philobotron says Max Payne. Super Harmon says Halo. Octo says Wario Land 4, a game created by the Super Metroid team, and also a game neither of you have played despite being Super Metroid simps.
I played
Wario Land 4, yes.
I like it. I don't think it's going to play on this list. There's a lot of competition here.
Oh, hell yeah. Sorry, there was a big play by the Lions.
Thanks. Okay, good.
Breadfish says Paper Mario. Hospice says Halo Combat Evolved is still my favorite in the series. That's true for a lot of people. Even people I know who like worked at Bungie, like they still like Halo's still my favorite game.
There's something just pure about that original one. Huh?
Yep. Let's see here. Shoji Kodo says, even with all the bangers that came out this year, I feel the top 4 are an absolute lock. But I'd say for me, the top spot is a tie between GTA 3 and Halo Combat Evolved. Big Tony, I know you guys don't like this game, but Conker's Bad Fur Day is my pick. I am fine with Conker's, but it's not going to be in any of my top lists of that year, especially in such a strong year.
Yeah, I'm not fine with Conker.
Right, no, yes, yes.
Sorry, you never had a chance.
Yeah,
I'll say it.
Conker didn't really have a chance here. Courageous Big Basketball, Super Smash Bros. Melee is obviously a lock since it's still talked about to this day.
So freaking good.
It's still played to this day constantly. Yeah. Jack E.G. says, what's a guy got to do around these parts to get a couple old handsome fellas such as yourselves to put on this banger? He's talking about the Zelda Oracle games, specifically Oracle of Ages, but I think Oracle of Seasons more beloved.
Yeah, so I've seen some people in chat brings up too, and it's definitely, I like these games quite a lot. It's just going to be hard with this is a pretty big year. I like these games a lot, but I don't know if I like them a lot to be like, oh, they're my top 5 Zeldas, right?
Right. Or even top 5 2001.
God, I wish that there wasn't so much shit right now so I can make you play these games because I do think you'd like them.
I think I would like them, yes. Star Wars Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2 from Chaos Buckaroo. Benji says, follow me, set me free, trust me, and we will escape from the city. It's Pikmin. Man, Pikmin.
Pikmin 1 was this year, but I mean, you probably play more Pikmin 1 than me. The series just gets better, right?
It just gets better. Yeah, Pikmin 1 is a very good game. It is probably my least favorite of the Pikmin games. Vision 49, not to be dramatic, but if Halo Combat Evolved and SSX Tricky don't make this list, I'm going to dive headfirst into my monitor. Listen, I'm just not an SSX guy. SSX can be fun, but
I like SSX.
I do too.
Tricky was this year?
Was
Tricky
right.
before 3? When did SSX 3 come out?
Yeah, I think Tricky's before 3.
I always played SSX 3 more. I like it, but even then, I don't know if I'd put it on a top 5 for a year.
Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't. SSX Tricky is fun. It's just I much prefer other extreme sports games. Velocity Prime 1 says there's obviously bigger and better games, but I want to give some love to Luigi's Mansion, a delightful parody of the Resident Evil series with Mario characters and a great sense of discovery and humor. Dr. Ryan has a list here, says Oracle of Ages / Seasons, the best 2D Zelda at the top. Super Smash Bros. Melee, SSX Tricky, just the GameCube one, Luigi's Mansion, and Advance Wars. 2001 was a Nintendo year.
We haven't really talked about Luigi's Mansion. I like Luigi's Mansion, but it's like one of my favorite, like 7.5 out of 10 games. You know what I mean?
Luigi's Mansion
was a great start.
Good, yes, but
it's good. It's even from a guy who's like, I don't think people should complain about games being short. That's a short video game. Yeah. That's a very short video game.
Yeah, maybe one of the better speedrunning games, maybe. Razzle Jazzle, it's time to rock a rhyme. That's right on time while doing the worm in the air on a snowboard. SSX Tricky, rest in peace, EA Sports Big. Let's see. Oasis also says Circle of the Moon with that incredible artwork.
Cover art. So freaking good. Love it.
Man, I should get that framed. Clink, let us not forget that somehow RuneScape launched this year and is still going, even if it's stuck in 2007.
Yeah, I think we're too old for RuneScape, Jeff. I had a younger cousin who really liked RuneScape.
Yeah, I was able to buy my video games at this point. I was graduating high school in 2001, everybody, so. Golden Sun, you cowards, says Rumham. Well, you might be right, but I think we're cowards for...
I think we're cowards.
Yep. A Cruel Angels Leah says, I really, really want to say Silent Hill 2, but I think my real answer actually has to be Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Oh, yeah.
I played so much of it in college that I just don't think it'd be fair of me to say anything else. She also gives an honorable mention to Final Fantasy X here. Teriyaki Blues.
Wait. What? So for my playthrough, my roommate did where we named him Sandy, talking about Tidus. Last name, Vagina. Sandy Vagina was their name for Tidus. Incredible. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
How dare you try to skip that, Jeff?
Teriyaki. Oh, where the fuck did I go? Teriyaki Blues. I'm going to find it here. I wonder if I could just control.
I can read it. It has the best soundtrack in the series. So therefore, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 is the best game of the franchise, and therefore the best game of 2001. Also, shout out to Black and White and Peter Molyneux and actually delivering on his promises for one game. Yeah, I liked Black and White, actually.
Yeah, Black and White was great. Yeah, I really liked Black and White. I'm
really creative, really
There's
unique.
a Black and White 2, right?
There is a Black and White 2, and I'm actually, I feel like if I did play it, way less than Black and White 1.
Yeah, I think that's right. Always Be Clothing, shout out to you. It says Final Fantasy X, my favorite Final Fantasy. Love everything about it, the combat, the music, the story, even the infamous laugh scene. It fits and makes sense in context, which is
does.
something this Discord has told me many times now at this point.
It does. But Jeff, you know what? It's still a little cringy, but it's fine. It's fine. We can get over it.
Dr. Lynch, I mean, how does anyone possibly look beyond Grand Theft Auto 3? Talk about a complete shift in game design, open world playgrounds, and so on. Not to mention that the satire of the American urbanism was just so damn good at the time. I remember getting it for Christmas that year, and we found where it was hidden before we were supposed to be getting it, and regularly unwrapped it, played it in the middle of the night, and then carefully put it back whenever we thought we could get away with it. I did that once for one Christmas, and that was a lot of fun.
It's so funny because like these PlayStation 2 games really bring me back to this time where we had a TV set up in like this one side room in the basement, and it was a relatively like bigger TV, but it was an old TV. We had the PlayStation 2 hooked up on it. I remember just spending so much time just actually watching AJ playing through Final Fantasy X, playing through GTA 3, and I think Jack and Daxter. It's really like just absolutely throwing me back into this very specific time and place. It's incredible.
Yeah, mine was my brother's girlfriend. Her house was it was kind of like a party house, and we would all go there every day after work or school, and at that point in my life, both. And we would just all hang out there, and we would smoke and drink and play Grand Theft Auto 3 and just pass the controller around all night. And it was just what we did. And it was, there was always, drama happening because a bunch of young, stupid people.
Sure.
But you could always count on you just go play Grand Theft Auto 3 and everyone's going to kind of shut up for a while. And that was pretty cool.
There you go.
All right. Boomerfield says, in honor of Volition being shut down, I would love to submit Red Faction. I spent hundreds of hours on end playing the multiplayer with cousins, just admiring the destructive environment. It was the coolest thing a console first-person shooter could do at the time. Yep.
It was neat. I mean, that's still very far from a given in modern shooters that you could just kind of destroy any wall you see or make a hole wherever you want to, right?
Yep,
that was very cool tech.
Yes, it was. It's I definitely wish that there was a fork of big games that I guess these days Tears of the Kingdom kind of keeping some of that alive. They don't the destruction, but that's sort of kind of like, hey, we're going to mess around with physics to see what we could do. There's definitely some games that are keeping that torch going. Rock Party says Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Wong Gift says, Onimusha Warlords. Final Fantasy X was very important to me, but I don't think it holds up. So I'm going with Onimusha.
I think they meant Onimusha. I think they actually got the box effort. Wait, Onimusha Warlords, is that just the other name or is that a different game?
I don't know, Mike. I'm like wondering the same thing now, and I don't know the answer to that.
I'll get to the bottom of this, Jeff. You continue reading.
Which definitely holds up, as I only actually played it when it released on Switch, and it's completely rad. Re-release the sequels, Capcom, you cowards. I think Onimusha Warlords is a different game, but that's a gut.
That actually is just the name for Onimusha.
Cool. Very cool. I never touched Onimusha.
I played it, and for some reason, it was like a bit beyond me. Like I couldn't quite rock it properly.
That's what we were doing on Be Light Club this week. As Dan had me do games like that, where it's like, I didn't get this when I was younger. Let's see if you get it now. And it turned out Bart versus the Space Mutants was that's just a really confusing game.
That's a real, you like basically need a guy for that game. It's basically an adventure game. Very weird game.
It's a weird one. Chulzy85 says Final Fantasy X. I got this the day after seeing Fellowship of the Ring in theaters. High school was such a good time for nerd stuff. Yes, that was a good time.
Yes, that's my freshman year in high school.
While the voice acting was questionable at times, the game pushed the genre forward in terms of storytelling. Let's see, the once in future.
I want to kind of play Final Fantasy X again.
It's one I'm like,
fun.
Maybe we could do something on Giant Bomb. I kind of would want to watch someone play some of that. I think.
I think it'd be fun. Good stuff. A lot of people say Final Fantasy X. That's getting a lot of respect.
It's one where it's like when you do these, like, hey, name your game of the year for a certain year. It's like Final Fantasy X, getting a lot of love, and you don't hear people who are like, oh, I don't like Final Fantasy X, because that's all Final Fantasy. You're gonna have a lot of people who like one and hate one. It's just. When people are like just straight up saying, hey, I like this, it feels like, oh yeah, this is a wave of support for this game. The Once in Future Jason L says, I feel like the actual top 5 is super easy. Here are a few that I love, but don't rate for one reason or another. Diablo 2, Lords of Destruction, the expansion that really made Diablo 2 for me.
Very good expansion.
Baldur's Gate 2, Throne of Basel. Kind of the same deal as the previous one. Dark Cloud and Anachronix, 2 RPGs that I love. Anachronix.
Anachronix rules.
Yes,
I want
to find
an excuse to play it. Anachronix, the actual best game from Ion Storm. Eat shit, Deus Ex. No, but I like Anachronix. It's a game made on like the Quake 2, maybe I think it was like the Quake 2 or even Quake 1 engine. It was like an old engine even at the time, and it's actually like a JRPG. It's turn-based combat. It's really fun.
Whenever is this on
a
Steam?
planet is a party member. It's incredible. Like a planet tricks itself, and whenever they talk, it's like the governing body, like council, is like the speech bubble, and like it's just one of your party members. You issue the planet commands. It's incredible.
This game's on Steam. I might get it.
It's a fun game.
And then he says, Commandos 2. What was this? Yes. I don't think it likes a Final Fantasy. Commandos 2, a great little military stealth tactics game that is just blown out of the water by Shadow Tactics that came later.
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
I think Shadow Tactics, is that the one that is from Ubisoft? I don't know. All right. DMC Depressed Me Cry and says Devil May Cry filled our Dark Souls with light and started the character action genre. I do remember seeing that clip now. Klonoa 2 is an amazing 2D platformer and a criminally underappreciated series.
Klonoa 2 rules. Very fun game.
Not according to that person that sent a mail to the guy that does Did You Know Gaming.
Oh, right. That was incredible.
We went to go see a live show for Gerard, the completionist, and the opener was, what's his name?
Ketagris.
Yes. He was very good. Very fun. I had a good time at that. Screaming Madden. Madden will get its due now with 2002 in consideration, right? Right? Well, if not, Super Smash Bros. Melee should be considered, as that's one of my favorite games, despite Tommy Tallarico's 2.5 rating.
Oh, incredible. Here we go. Another Nintendo disappointment. Whatever he says in that video.
Man,
incredible.
I should watch those videos all again. Every time he gives a beloved game a bad review, it's just nectar for my soul. He also likes Klonoa 2 as well. Jamie H. Christmas Eve says, it was around this time that although I kept up with Nintendo handhelds, the home console was the PS2, and while I'd be very happy with Tony Hawk taking the top spot again, my pick is Final Fantasy X. Shout out to the EU version with more content. I've put well over 100 hours in on PS2, Vita, and Switch. Yes, a lot of love for Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
America Dragon 98 says Shadow Hearts. This is the one I can never keep straight. Which one is Shadow Hearts?
It's like one of the. It's a JRPG basically, but like darker. It's really high on my pile of shame. I want to play Shadow Hearts very bad. People who like Shadow Hearts do like Shadow Hearts a lot.
I always confuse it with Heart of Darkness, which is another game.
That Heart of Darkness is like a 2D cinematic platformer.
Yes, right. And I didn't know either.
Which actually a fun game.
Yes. Gigantes 42 says Paper Mario, GTA 3, Halo, and Super Smash Bros. Melee. Let's see. As Isaac Clarke, the most impactful and historically significant day of 2001, hands down. It's December 18th, aka Final Fantasy X's North American release date. Lenny Cool Dick Denver says people already said Paper Mario, Metal Gear Solid 2, Advance Wars, and others, so I'll just leave this here. And it's a picture of Golden Sun. Cerebus Kane says my vote goes to Phantasy Star Online. I think we.
Phantasy Star Online was late December 2000 Japan, but actually is January 2001 in the US.
Very cool. Punished Rose says, I got to shout out Dance Dance Revolution. I played so much that it helped me lose 50 pounds. Yeah, God, man, I love Dance Dance Revolution. Crouching Boomer, Hidden Zoomer. I played Klonoa 2 a ton when it came out, and having returned to it this year, both on original hardware and on the remaster, I'm reminded how much I loved this confident platformer expanded on the neat mechanics designs for the first game. The ending also makes me cry every time. Bob Stellation says, what is he? Oh, okay, he's doing the, yes, Halo. Yeah, thank you, Mike. You can do that in the background while I read this next one. Alex says, Jack 1 is still one of my favorite Naughty Dog games. Cascoder says, shout outs to the only true good Jack and Daxter game, the Precursor Legacy. How do you feel about that statement?
A surprising amount of Jack and Daxter representation in here, actually.
That's nice. I'm happy to see that. Brian Rose says, okay, my real answer is probably GTA 3 or Melee, but I want to shout out Pokemon Crystal because Gold and Silver was snubbed in the 2000 list? Question mark?
It was. We're sorry.
Turbo Sean comes in to wrap it up. It says, all of my actual answers were mentioned. Good job, team. So for the sake of representation, sing it with me. Like, do you know this line?
This is true love we're making. This is true love we're making. It's Capcom versus SNK 2, Mark of the Millennium 2001. Yeah, I'm glad. I actually didn't miss this one. This is a fantastic 2D fighting game. It's a real crowded list. It's going to be hard to probably get this
Look at that thigh. on the
yeah, there's a
box.
very beefy,
Big fan of that. Look at those quads.
really beefy Chun-Li thigh on this box art, everybody. Also, shouts for having Maki as a playable character from Final Fight 2.
Her muscles
That
have
rules.
muscles. Okay.
That's a good game.
All right. We added in
Gosh.
anything from the community suggestions, or I think we feel pretty good about this list because we have
like I almost
Final Fantasy X, which is mentioned a ton of times. Jack and Daxter's mentioned a ton of times. It was up there. Advance Wars, Castlevania, Tony Hawk. Well, we got a lot of them up there, right?
we got a lot of them. There's a surprising amount of a few Klonoa 2s and Golden Suns, but I just don't really see it happening. I feel bad about no Capcom versus SNK 2.
I mean, I'm going to feel bad about Golden Sun because I just adore Golden Sun, but yeah. So
yeah, and I guess we didn't give Max Payne 1 very much of a due. We kind of glossed over it. I've
never really
1.
played the Max Payne game, so that's
good.
me. Yep.
It's good. Just
Yes, I am just ignoring
it's a
Max Payne.
crowded
Sorry,
list.
I always have. All right, so the list so far, it's the long list. Super Smash Bros. Melee, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, Halo Combat Evolved, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, Grand Theft Auto 3, Jak and Daxter, The Precursor Legacy, Advance Wars, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, Castlevania Circle of the Moon, Eco, Final Fantasy X, Silent Hill 2. Mike, here's the thing.
Yes.
The top 5 up there probably is the top 5, but boy, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Castlevania Circle of the Moon are ones I really want to move up there. I just don't know what we take off.
Honestly,
I'm open to anything.
So Smash Bros. Melee, Rogue Leader, and Halo, I think are good. Like Rogue Leader is like maybe that's one we're a bit more partial to
Yeah,
than
but I
other
mean,
people.
it is
But hey,
our
that'd be
list.
us. It is our list. I agree that Halo's not going anywhere.
That's-
Man's not going anywhere.
you know what? We can keep it up for first trading out, though. That's fair. Let's just wait
Well,
and see.
no, I mean, man, surprisingly, not very many people in the Discord mentioned Sons of Liberty, which was interesting. I
Yeah.
like Sons of Liberty. I like 3 even more. Like, I'd be open to it. Grand Theft Auto 3, like I said, very important game. It's a game that just gets much better going forward here. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's the opposite of like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, which is started from a good idea and then it's at its kind of
opposite
zenith here.
of even Halo Combat Evolved, which is like, yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, that series continues to compound, but boy, Halo Combat Evolved kind of got it right away.
And here's my thing: like, I'm really high on Final Fantasy X, and that one came up maybe more than anything else in the Discord group. Final Fantasy X, somewhat surprisingly. So
Okay, so but if we're like going on vibes of the chat, they are going to want us to get rid of Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, though, I think.
yeah, but this isn't a negotiation, right?
Okay, as long
We're
as we're
not
clear
letting
on
any of the
that.
hostages go without until we get our helicopter first.
That's right.
Like,
The
something like that.
beatings will continue until morale improves, everybody. So just get used to it. I did notice that Sean just popped in here, so I'm a little bit worried about that. Okay, so tell me what you're thinking then, Mike. What's Final Fantasy X up instead of what?
What I am thinking is to get rid of Metal Gear Solid 2 and get rid of Grand Theft Auto 3 and put on Final Fantasy X and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. That's what I am thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
It's hard. I know it's rough. It's a really big year. It's hard. These are all very good games, everybody. These are all very, very good video games.
Yeah. I know we can. I feel good about Final Fantasy X and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 going up there. Kind of can't get away with Castlevania Circle of the Moon, especially when we already got Rogue Leader up there, and then we'll get Tony Hawk up again.
Yeah, I do. I know it's been a lot Tony Hawk, and but man,
They really are.
These games are slow. It's gonna fall off after this, I think, unless
Right.
we have some slower years. But Tony Hawk was just very, very good for a long time.
Okay, so I have moved down Metal Gear Solid 2 and Grand Theft Auto 3. And now the top
Hard.
5 is Super Smash Bros. Melee, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, Halo Combat Evolved, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, and Castlevania Circle. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one. Let me move that.
No, your heart.
Yes,
instead of your brain
I
there.
just saw it. I'm like, oh, it's right there. I'll just move it up. Final Fantasy X, excuse me, instead of Castlevania Circle of the Moon. But Castlevania Circle of the Moon's number 6, everyone knows. Okay.
Dunsaw says that's okay. It wouldn't be a game of the size list if it was good. I think that's fair, actually.
Fair enough. Okay, so Super Smash Bros. Melee, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, Rogue Leader, Halo Combat Evolved, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, Final Fantasy X. I personally would probably still move Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 up to 2. And I'm okay with Super Smash Bros. Melee being 1. Obviously, that game has stood the test of time. It's just,
Oh, yeah.
I just don't even. There's not much point arguing. It's just, it holds up so well. Obviously,
So good.
It's self-evident.
It's so good.
Yes,
Self-evident. Yeah, it's just like the
it's
rights
just like
of
our
man.
freedoms. Yes, the rights of man.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Benjamin Franklin said Super Smash Brothers Melee is self-evident.
No, that was Jefferson. Good try.
No, that was Benjamin Franklin. Yep.
Oh, because he told him to edit it. God damn it!
Yeah.
Holy
Dumb
shit!
bitch.
You're one move ahead of me. Okay, you watched John Adams on HBO.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
like 7 times, but also
It's
I
very
read
good.
his biography too.
Very good.
Okay, let's see here. So Super Smash Brothers Melee #1. I would want to move Tonex Pro Skater 3 up to #2, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Part of me likes the cheekiness of Rogue Leader at 2, but no, you're probably right.
I think I want to make that 3 though, if that's okay.
Yeah, let's go. That game is really good,
It's
everybody.
really good.
And I know, like, compared to a lot of these games, it's a lot harder to still play these days, which is a crying shame. It's easily the hardest of these games to still play today. I mean, Melee's not super... No, Melee's pretty easy now because you can just do it on Dolphin.
Right.
Rogue Leader, still kind of... It's better on Dolphin. I even have a... Rogue Leader doesn't work great with even my HDMI converter, like my fancy one.
Factor 5, man. Factor 5's games are so hard to emulate. There was... They worked on that Indiana Jones game a little bit on N64, I think, and that one is really tough to emulate. So it just their tech is just so weird that no one can really reverse engineer it. I mean, okay, I think this is the list, Mike. What do you think? You want to move Final Fantasy X above Halo?
Maybe, but I don't really. It's not that I don't feel that strongly. I defer to you on that. I completely defer to you on that.
Let's keep Halo above Final Fantasy X.
I think that's fine. I think you're right.
I think Final Fantasy. I'm glad it's on the list, and because it represents a lot of the voice of the community, and it's a game that you like, and but yes, I think this is probably right.
You should maybe put it above Halo. I'm just sneaking.
No, I think Jeff's right. I think Jeff's right.
Yes, I think Halo.
That feels right.
Halo's lucky to be on this list, Baron.
Sean, listen, don't get attached to the list. You will be like accomplice to this.
I know I can't say anything about it because it's just like I don't want to be a part of this shit show. You're right.
Yeah, you'll become
this is
addicted
good.
to it, and and then you
Okay.
can't change it, and you'll resent its absence.
Yeah. The Metal Gear Solid 2's not like that hurts. I agree.
Yeah.
You know what though? Metal Gear Solid 2 got a lot better with substance. And, hey, that's a later year, right?
Yeah, there you go.
We'll use that as our excuses or something. I don't know.
All right, so this top 5 now is #5, Final Fantasy X, #4, Halo Combat Evolved, #3, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2, Rogue Leader, and something that the Nintendo fanboy in me from 2001 is like very happy that Rogue Leader's above Halo.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for the boomer takes on that. I love it. It's
Tony
so good.
Hawk's
You
Pro
guys just
Skater
don't
3
know.
is #2, and #1 is Super Smash Brothers Melee. At least we got that one right. So I'm gonna post this.
Representation from all 3 of the console time. No PC.
2001
games.
might have been a very good year for games. It turns out.
I never think of it as like one of the best years. This year like ruled. This is really
honestly
good
this year kind of has a similar feeling to 2001, where it's like just everyone's putting out games across the board, and a lot of them are very good. And maybe this year's better because it's like some of the best games are hitting even that much higher, but just broad representation from everybody.
These are a lot of iconic, important games.
I go to look out to tweet these things now, and it takes me a second to recognize the icon. I'm still not used to the X.
Yeah, the X. Like, what the hell is? I left my porn tab open. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
exactly. Yeah, that's X videos right there.
Yeah.
Or X Hamster, or one of any of the X ones. I don't know what they are anymore. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna post this now.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that Jeff got laughing about 9/11 out of the way earlier in the podcast, so he didn't do it at all during this.
I mean, I think there was a point in the break.
We can still do it.
Yeah.
Shut up, Christian. I know you want to. You shut up. You weren't
What?
there, man. You don't know.
Why the hell is it called X Hamster of all things? That's what I've always wondered.
Never thought about it.
Yeah.
Never thought about it. Now
I mean,
I'm
you're
not
never,
sure.
your brain's not in the right place there. I'm just not. Now we're bringing it up
you're
out of
right,
context.
but-
I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell is that name?
All right. Let's see here. I think we're gonna take another quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about what we've been playing.
That's good.
I think somebody show up with hamster up there.
Yeah, Richard Gere.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay, Mike, you good to
how
go?
mad is Dan gonna be that we never even said the word Twisted Metal Black?
Oh yeah, probably very.
Ooh.
It's a good game.
I looked at it and I disregarded
Also
it.
looked at
Alright.
it. I was like,
Yeah.
I like that game.
Yeah, whatever. it's
Anyways,
fine. I told Dan we were doing this, and I said he could come and just burst in whenever he wants. He's recording a different podcast, so that's his problem.
Did he fix his computer?
Hollywood Dan.
We worked on it. We got NZXT in there to help, and it seems like a bad stick of RAM. Because when he has two of the sticks in the 2 and 4 slot, it boots up fine and runs, and that's still 32 gigabytes RAM, so he's gonna be fine. But we're gonna work on getting him.
Damn, y'all got 64 in those rigs. Shit.
That's messed up.
Hey, the 1%'s living good over here.
Don't forget, these are the people. These are people who are saying that Starfield runs well.
Yeah, these little people's computers is so cute. It's so cute.
Speaking of, if Starfield comes up here, I got something for you guys. Otherwise, we'll do it like at the end.
Okay, yeah, no, I want to talk about Starfield. Okay, let's get back into it. If you're good, you good?
All right. Yep.
We're back, and we're talking about what we've been playing. Mike, let's talk about Starfield at the top here. A game that I have decided I don't want to hear people talk about anymore, so let's do it on our podcast.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
I played a little bit since we got back, not as much as I want because I got really into Armored Core 6. But I did install that DLSS patch from that fan.
Oh, really?
I paid the $5. Yeah, it runs like really, really well. It did crash on me once, though, which is like why I stopped playing.
That just might be Starfield doing its thing.
It never crashed on me before, and that the people did say, hey, this is causing the stability problems. So that's not too surprising. It's also probably why Bethesda didn't put DLSS in there, because it's like would have been yet another thing to Q&A. So I kind of get that. But
I got the crashing too when I installed the mod, so it's definitely
it's the mod.
It's like when you change a setting, it will probably crash it, but after that's fine.
Exactly. So but it runs really good with that mod. Boy, DLSS is very good. I was getting 150 to 300 frames per second sometimes, and that's obviously on the 4090, of course, but playing at 1440p, and that's just really, really nice. That game still is just continues to gel for me the more I play it. The main quest I'm on, kind of the part where I'm at, where it's like early on, Todd Howard said there's multiple coming out of the vault moments in this game. I am starting to get the hunch that I'm still not even at the final one of those, even though I had yet another one. It's like there's like 10 of those, it seems like. So that is part of that is like the meta of figuring out like, how are they going to keep opening up this game in new ways? It's been very fun to experience. And it's like, and the more you do that, the more it comes into focus what they're trying to accomplish with this game. And then you have a better chance of doing the thing you have to do with Starfield, which is meet it where it's at. You can't just go off and do your own thing like you can with some other Bethesda games, which is continues to be a disappointment, continues to be a problem for the game, but it's less of a problem the further you get away from that initial impression of it. So I continue to think this is a game that has a lot of 7 out of 10 energy. And then as I play it more and more, it is a much, much better game than that. And the great moments are now far outweighing the this is kind of mediocre sometimes moments. I don't know. How are you feeling?
No, I mean, I got to play a good bit of it since I've been back, and I am always enjoying myself. I'm always happy to kind of go further, see new things, even to progress the story just a little bit further. I still do run into my frustrations. Like, one happened live when I was playing with you, and part of it is maybe some of it is my own fault for one, not meeting the game halfway, and two, being really stubborn about being like following some moral code I set up for my character early on. But it was like a level where I had to steal something and in a ship, and I was like, I want to do this without killing anybody here. I don't think these people are that bad. And
they probably should have made those guys a little bit worse to make you feel better.
Right. And it's just like I had very specific ideas of how I was going to do it, and I just could not do it that way. I couldn't like talk myself into getting the thing I wanted to. There was a few different ways to get to it, but then even then, no matter what, even if I like tried to like be stealthy and take this object, it always triggered alarm no matter what. And I even looked it up online. It's like, no matter what, they're going to at least like know that you stole it and try to chase you at the end.
Which I told you, like what I did is like because I don't have necessarily a moral code, but I am not trying to be I'm not going to leave everyone dead on this ship kind of player either. So when I stole it, I just ran off the ship and I ran as best I could. I did kill a couple guys on the way out, but it was like that was last resort. And then that last row of guys, like I just burst in that room and they're like, what is going on? And they're kind of reacting that way. And then suddenly I'm just like getting on my ship and flying away. And that stuff might still actually be in the quick look when I played that way. We might have cut around it. We had to do a lot of editing because of the embargo. And the bug cost me having to replace some of that stuff.
Embargo, I got to remind you about after you recorded it.
Yes,
I'm a hero.
You're a hero. You really did help us. But it's like, yeah, I like that. But again, I think I was meeting the game halfway in that moment. And that's a moment that is kind of immovable in a lot of ways. And there's quite a few of those. There's definitely quite a few of that stuff. And that, I do think that sticks out more these days than it would have when Skyrim came out and Fallout 4 came out.
Sure.
Hey, we do live in a post-Baldur's Gate 3 world where you're hearing stories constantly of people solving things in new ways, and then the game almost always accounting for those ways that people are solving things. So the games are growing, and the Bethesda games are still Bethesda games.
Right, exactly. But, you know, some of that stuff is, I don't want to harp on it because I feel like every time I talk about Starfield, I do harp on these things. And yeah, they bug me. The game is too janky. I think I would have liked the game to be less janky, but I still think it is a really fun game. It is definitely a very big game, and apparently even bigger than I can even really understand right now. I think there's a lot of fun quest lines. I did one that was almost like this game's version of the Shroud quest line from Fallout 4, which was a highlight of that game for me. Although calling it a quest line here might be a little generous, but still, it was a really fun, kind of neat moment. And there's a lot of this.
Yep. I do hear people talk about it, and my thing, the reason I don't want to hear people talk about it anymore is because I agree with everybody. Everyone's right.
Yeah,
the experience you're having is right. Like the thing where you're bored at the beginning of the game, or even later in the game, you're bored, you don't like what you're doing. You're right. And the people that are having like mind-blowing experiences and going through New Game Plus 16 times, they are also right. It's like you can kind of find the fun here if you're willing to put in some work, and if you're not willing to put in work, that's completely fair. And I harbor no ill will towards those people. There's too much good stuff to play. Go play the game that you actually are jiving with. And this game will still be here if they make improvements or change stuff or whatever. I know that I'm having a really good time with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind hearing people talk about Starfield. I think it can be fun. It's when people get really worked up about other people's Starfield opinions.
Exactly, yes.
And it just seems to always default to that.
It does.
For some reason.
Exactly. That's really what, yes, it always veers into that. I'm not in the mood for it with this game. I kind of want to experience it on my own terms. And that's been really nice. Mike, Armored Core 6 is...
good game.
God, it might.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, something with Starfield. Yeah.
Because
that's right. Yeah. Talk about Starfield. What's up?
Well, real quick, I'll keep this brief. But since I was part of the preview coverage, I guess I will just update. I'm like 20-ish hours in right now. I will say I'm losing steam on the game.
Yeah.
I'm like into the powers and everything like that. So I'm decently into the game now. But I think it's not doing enough for someone like me who isn't already a fan of the formula to keep me there. It feels like Bethesda made a Bethesda game. They didn't necessarily push the needle in the way they want to.
Yes.
So yeah, that's why I'm like, I think I am going to look at something like Armored Core 6 or Sea of Stars or something like that. Mike, I hit the bugs. Are you happy?
Yeah, there you go. That was like the one thing where I did I don't want to be like I came at other people's opinions, but I was just like shocked when people were like, "Oh, this game's not very buggy." It's like, "Oh, okay," because every time I play, like every 30 minutes, there's some new weird bug.
Yep.
It still hasn't been a ton, but like the first one I hit was a very problematic one. I have a scoped weapon. The scope always zooms in behind me.
Cool.
So I have to do a 180 no scope with my scope in order to actually use my scope.
That's incredible. I love that.
But anyways, what I'm actually here for is Wolf does have a little Metacritic prediction update since we know the scores have sold. Gentlemen, Jeff, you predicted 94.
Well, that's just a mistake.
For Starfield. Mike predicted 92, and it's sitting at 86 for Xbox Series X. So Mike will get the point on that one. I would like to point out,
I think that was very shortly after that presentation how we were like really high.
You guys were riding high. I was like, you guys are crazy.
Charter Wolf, by the way, has been like messaging me on multiple things. He's very mad about Metal Gear Solid 2 being on the list. It blames me entirely for it. So he's probably going to, he's going to
just nudge things in my direction. Yeah, exactly.
Fun fact, I would like to point out, though, that in our preview video, after playing the game for a little bit, me and Mike did both predict 86 is where it would land. So
there you go.
Shouts to us for nailing it after getting hands-on.
We're going to be close to the end of this quarter soon. Let's to get through September.
In this month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, so we should have the summary thing at the end of the month, yeah.
Was Sea of Stars one of the games we did a prediction for?
I don't remember.
I believe it was, yes. because I think we had the
it's all good.
conversation.
Well, if I know it was good fun, trust me, you're all good.
I believe we had that conversation about like how well you think an homage indie game would do.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
It is fun to like hear people who haven't been into Bethesda games before and like see how they're going to react, because it is that also runs the gamut. Like I think Andy over Kind of Funny has never really been into Bethesda games before, and he can't stop playing this one. It's like, what is causing some people to stick to it? Yeah, and what's causing some people to be like, whatever. And it's impossible to predict, I think, person to person. So.
Really, and again, I hope it doesn't devolve into just like, I don't know, spats, but I think it could be very interesting to hear what people think about this at Game of the Year time.
Yeah. By then I'll be interested, because it's like, I think there's going to be a lot of people who bounce off and a lot of people who played 150 hours of it, and that'll be interesting.
Star Wolf says I got the Sea of Stars point also. Okay, cool. Let's go.
Oh shit. Armored Core 6 is it might actually be Game of the Year. It's so good.
It's really good. Oh my god, the Armored Core 6 Coalition grows.
It is so atmospheric and so amazing. Like I think there was the level where early on where you are you're just you're working for the corporations and you're wrecking these rebels or whatever. And then the rebels are like, well, you're a mercenary, we'll hire you. And then you go on this mission, and I'm pretty sure it was them planning this the sabotage where all of these mechs that I was fighting against were invisible, and they would like wait until I got cornered down this corridor, and then suddenly it's like, look behind you, they're attacking, and like all these laser beams are coming at me, and I gotta like fight my way out, and I feel so goddamn cool. It feels great to play. And the atmosphere is just, it's oozing over everything that they say and do, and everything that the handler's saying to me, and everything my robot companion now is saying to me, or the AI companion. And it's just, I'm so into this world. And I that thing that Dan was saying about his brain being on fire from playing this game, it's just like it tingling all these aspects of you just gotta react, and you just gotta act, and then you gotta just get in their ass and blow it up. It's a From Software game. That's happened to me repeatedly. And now I'm getting to these awesome boss fights that take 5 to 15 tries.
Right.
And I
really fun.
And I'm at a point in my life with these games where that's what boss fights should be. I played Final Fantasy 16, and I was disappointed that they gave me really generous checkpoints. Even though at the moment I'm like, oh, thank God. Another beat later, it's like, that's disappointing. I want to be challenged. This game is here for me, and it fucking owns. It's so good.
Right. I think these developers really have to have some restraint and some foresight with that stuff, because I think it's very easy to watch a playtest and see people struggling with your boss and like die 5 times and think, well, this is a problem. We got to make it easier. But yeah, like, I like 16's bosses a lot. They're really cool. They're really fun, but it does feel like the game is holding my hand through them. And, there was a boss in Armored Core 6 that took me like 15 tries. At one point I had to like quit the mission and go grind for some more credits to rebuild my robot and get back in there. But it was always fun. And when I finally beat that robot, sure does feel good. Sure does feel very good.
Yep. I will say that I am the building the robot. I'm still pretty early. I just beat the sea spider, and that was very challenging. I am trying a bunch of different builds, but it's hard for me to predict like what it's really going to feel like in the battle. And when I still don't have so much money that I can like buy multiple different builds. I'm like, I got to kind of commit to maybe 1 or 2 different directions here. And
don't forget that if you sell parts, you get it for full price.
No, yes, and I have been taking advantage of that, because once I realized that, as much as possible, and that's very great. But when you do get to some of these bosses, and the sea snake or the sea spider is not too bad, because its checkpoint is like right after that opening segment. But some of the, like Balteus, his checkpoint's pretty deep in the level, which is discouraging when I'm like, I got to quit the level. Then buy the
that's
stuff.
Why it took me a while to quit that. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to
It took me a minute too. I did have to. That one didn't take me as many tries as the sea spider, and it was maybe like 7 or 8 tries. But like on the 4th one, I'm like, I don't think this build's going to work at all, and so I quit at that point and then got back in there and had much better luck. But it's not really a complaint. It's just like I'm slowly like building an awareness of like how these different mechs work, and now I've done different builds with like obviously the very fast ones with light armor, and I'm running around on the reverse legs and I'm jumping all over the place. But I've done the tetra legs as well, where I'm floating up in the air and hovering and staying above all the fray, and that's great. I've done the tank, the base, and it's like all this stuff really does change how you play. and it's all viable in different ways. And it's cool to experiment with that stuff. And I'm glad that they enable you to sell that stuff for full price. So I do feel good about experimenting. It's just one of the best feeling games I've ever played. And this is the one that's like, I love Sekiro, but this game with the mechs, the way the mechs work, it fits even better with me than Sekiro ever did. So I just blown away by it. So in love with this game. We've had a lot of
really big games, and those are fun. It's really nice to see like the depth in those. I really like how focused this game is, and how it's able to run so much better than, say, an Elden Ring, probably because it is more focused, and you do have these like smaller levels. It just does the few things that it does do. It does them very well. It just like I said, it feels so good to play. It really kind of nails that style and just the kind of vibe it's going for.
It's also gorgeous.
It's a gorgeous, even though like think like everything's like gray and white because it's on a snowy planet. Even though it's like kind of true, it still just looks really good. Again, I might just be Final Fantasy VI brained because I just always associate mechs with snow because of the opening of that game. But I just love the way that this game looks and feels.
Someone mentioned that snow might actually be ash from the fires of Rubicon, and there might be ash, but there's also snow there because it's also a very cold planet. So
somebody should lick it and be like, it's salt.
Yeah, no. Hey, that's a good point. That's a good movie right there. Yeah, I'm going to keep playing Armored Core 6. It continues to run really great on the Ally. I actually was very frustrated. I was going to play it on the PC today, and my fucking save wouldn't sync, and I got so frustrated. But I just went back and played it on the Ally, and that was fine. But yeah, if you're looking for something to play on one of those handhelds, that's just a really good option. So, yeah. How about you, Mike? What have you been playing?
Well, a lot of Starfield, honestly. And then a bit more of Sea of Stars. I haven't gotten to play a ton of it, but just a bit more, and still am really gelling with that game and enjoying it a lot. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to play even more of going here. I mean, the other thing I didn't talk about from PAX, the other kind of big demo from that was the Persona 3 Reloaded demo, which is the Persona 3 remake, which I thought that was really fun. It does a very good job of just like obviously it looks a lot better and it has a bit more of that Persona 5 vibe, but they didn't just make it completely Persona 5. Like the battles, your character's still surrounding the enemies instead of being in that line. Like I did like a dungeon crawl thing, like the thing in Tartarus, and it is still that. It is still the randomly generated dungeon floor. So I'm glad that they did keep that instead of, again, just making it more straight up like Persona 5. But it just looks so slick. The new music sounded really good to me. Really happy with that. I'm very excited for that to come out.
Yeah. I wonder if is there any world in which this is a game that I could maybe get something out of?
January. So it's next year.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not worried about like playing it for Game of the Year. I'm just worried about ever playing a Persona game and wondering if I can ever grok with it.
Maybe.
See, I shot with like, no way in hell.
No, give it a try because maybe this will be the one. Give this one a try when it comes out because it'll be, again, very, very slick, but it also kind of is like, I don't know.
It's kind of darker. This is like the darkest.
Yeah. I think Jeff would dig the vibe a little bit more, but it's still a question
they shoot themselves in the head to summon the persona. It's like fucking rad.
And you know what? That still is actually really metal and rad. I still love that. I'm glad that they kept that. It looks so cool.
Did you play 5 at all, Jeff?
No, I didn't play any of 5.
Okay. Have you played any of 4?
No, I haven't played any of them.
Yeah, try this one.
Yeah, I think you might at least appreciate it.
I'm just trying to find the blasphemy Persona 3 game fact from that guy that became a Christian. It's like since playing this game, I've become a Christian.
Legendary.
Yeah, I had it.
That's so
Give me
good.
a second.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Mike?
No, that is about it, Jeff.
All right. Well,
we got some more super chats though. We still need to read.
Hit me with those.
All right. Damien says, my hidden gem of the year is Pseudo Regalia, a 3D platform Metrovania that is $6 on Steam and has very satisfying movement mechanics. Well, I'm going to look this up like almost ASAP.
Yeah, Pseudo Regalia? Okay.
Yeah. Poor Charlie Wolf says, expect the video of me crying later tonight. I'm sorry. Metal Gear Solid 2 is very, very, very good.
Yeah. I've never played it.
Yeah. I think it's better than a lot of games that made the list in 2000.
Yeah, probably.
It's just, this was a crowded year. This was a rough year. And then Dr. Butthugger says, now what are Bethesda employees doing? They are almost certainly working on Elder Scrolls 6, I imagine.
They're working on DLC for Starfield too.
Right, that too. that too. You're right. You're absolutely right. Did you find your Christian game fact?
Christian found it. The Christian game
that's
fact.
funny.
Let's see here. It's Persona 2. It was Persona 2 guide written in 2011. Gets one hell of an update, and it said I've been playing Persona 2 and using it. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna actually have to get the picture. Oh my god, it's really long. Originally writing and post this guide. Just number 1. Okay, who's the most powerful demon / Persona and Shin Megami Tensei / Persona games? The devil, Satan, not Lucifer. That's not really a name for the devil. Only has what authority Jesus gives him. In other words, the devil is a wimp, and at the end of time, the devil and all fallen angels and all wicked humans will be permanently destroyed. Gone. No sin will be in the kingdom. Contrary to popular belief, dying is not cool.
Not cool.
There you go. How can you argue with that?
Hey, this Pseudo Regalia game actually looks really rad. It kind of has Nintendo 64's PlayStation 1 aesthetics. Overwhelmingly positive reviews, and only costs $6. I'm going to buy it.
I'm buying it
right now.
I'm getting it right now.
That looks fantastic, actually. Oh boy, there we go.
That really fun. Looks. What'd you say it looked like?
Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1.
It looks like Castlevania 64. That's what it looks like.
Castlevania 64. It sure does.
Oh man, look at that platforming. Holy hell, that looks good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe I'll talk about this on the show.
We can do a quick look, even though it's been out since July. But
sure,
no one's talking about it. Who knows?
Okay.
The test sent a super chat right now that just says Max Payne. Yep. Sorry, Mr. Lake.
Yep. Sorry about that. Don't come for us, Sam Lake. We apologize.
Sorry.
Any other super chats, Mike?
We just, aside from that one we just got from the test, I think we are now caught up.
All right, cool. I'm gonna hit the button then. Mike, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet?
Yeah. Find me on all the social places as TOLKOTO, on Twitch as TOLKOTO, especially. I think pretty soon here I'm going to do the Robo Mitch Mortal Kombat 11 stream before Mortal Kombat 1 comes out. I think that'll be my next kind of big, fun, gimmicky stream.
That'll be fun.
Maybe hopefully sometimes weekend. I'm very busy. I'm surprised how much stuff I have going on all of a sudden, but I'm going to try to find time.
This game looks fucking awesome. She's got like a pogo stick.
It looks very good.
And she's jumping on walls. It looks amazing. Holy
Who told us about this? Thank you so much.
Yeah, I actually.
Thank you so much for knowing our tastes.
Yes. Thanks for having our back on that.
Thank you, Damien. Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. That's going to happen. It's going to be this year's. What was that? Super Kiwi 64. It's going to be this year's Super Kiwi 64. Only actually maybe a substantial game. Because it's a Metroidvania. Oh my god. I'm Jeff Grubb everywhere, except for Instagram / Threads, where I'm Jeffy Grubb. Posted a bunch of pictures over the weekend of us at PAX on Instagram, but also on Twitter, things like that. If you want to find out what that was like, if you missed out on stuff, we put both of our panels up on GiantBomb.com, so you can watch me and Mike hanging out on the one. Me and the Giant Bomb crew hanging out on the other, with Jenna Stober, who did a really good job putting together a game show for us. That was a really fun time. And then all the other stuff, we did Nintendo Live. There'll be a video of that. There'll be a video of us just hanging out at PAX. There'll be a video of Jan and Tam and Lucy on the train. A lot of stuff. We'll get to it when Jan's able to get to it. But look forward to all that. All right. Guess we'll get out of here. Mike, you said you're very busy. What's your plans this weekend? Other than Final Fantasy
concert, so that's gonna take up a lot of it. I think my dad wanted to do dinner at some point too, so
make sure I get right. Remind me to not go out on Saturday night because Steph's leaving town on Sunday, so I got to get right back home and make sure that she's good. So,
I mean, after the concert?
Yeah, after the concert. Yeah.
You think we can still get some food before the concert?
We should get food before the concert. Yes, that would be ideal.
I think my brothers were planning this a lot in chat, and I was ignoring it because I was dealing with 5 other things.
Columbros.
Search for it on your podcast feed.
Recording on Tuesday for the Patreon.
Bye, everybody.
It's Donald Duck for real. Enjoy your gaming.
All right, Jeff. We'll see each other here.
Okay.
Legal pills.
Rico Studios.
About 10 gigs worth of women's butts.